All right, kids, here's our fourth worksheet on simplifying radical expressions. Again, we've been going hard on these. In this worksheet, again, like some of the other ones, we have a few questions, kind of just making sure you understand some different things about radicals and what we've been trying to do, and then some problems where we're working on simplifying, like some of the examples you saw in the lesson. Hopefully you watched that already. If you have, that'll make it seem definitely go better for you, okay? Those first two, again, are some questions. Number one, what are the three simplifying rules for radicals? What are we trying to achieve to get a radical in the simplest form? I'd say especially for number one, check out the lessons on day 1 and day 2 for this particular unit for 11.2, or check your notes. Definitely that's something you should have wrote down in your notes as well. But take a look there to figure out what are we trying to do. Again, you're working out the first couple days of this section, and then what's the difference between those two little problems there? Okay, you might find out it's kind of a trick question, but what's the difference between what it's saying there for both of those? Punch them in the calculator, see what you get, and see what you think. Okay. All right, simplifying some of the ones like we were talking about before. Problems 3 and 4. Notice that you've got, again, almost like like terms. So you can do some quick simplifying right there for each one of those. Don't be fooled. Number 4, just give you a quick hint, right? What number really there is in front of the square root? It's like a 1 is right there. That's like the coefficient that's sitting in front of that square root. So just a little reminder on number 4. But maybe let me go to one like number 5 here first. I think we did one kind of like that in the notes. Actually, let me go to another one. How about number 6, just because it's a little different. So number 6, it looks like I can't add those two square roots together because this one is square root of 32 and this one's square root of 2. So yep, those are definitely different. I couldn't combine them the way they are right now. But square root of 32 I can break apart. Okay, the 9 still stays in front. But I can break apart the square root of 32 into the square root of 16 times the square root of 2. Okay, and that's still plus the square root of 2 over here. But the reason that helps me is because the square root of 16, though, now I can actually take and get rid of that square root. It's 4. Okay, and then the 9 times the 4 gives me 36 square root of 2 plus another square root of 2. And then I can, this is almost like having, just for example, okay, it's like having 36x plus another x, right? It's the same idea here. This would be 37 square root of 2. Okay, so there's help on number 6. And that should help you with some of the ones that kind of are in front of it. Just notice 7 and 8. Definitely not saying that you can combine all of the radicals that are there, but there definitely are some that you can simplify and do a little bit of combining. So just note that there should be some simplifying to do there. Okay, then 9, 10, and 11 all have to deal with some of the examples we also did in the lesson 2. Again, if you don't know or didn't watch the lesson video, definitely go back and do that. That might help with some of these, especially if you're having trouble. But I'll go to number 11 here and just kind of remind you, I'll get you started. Just remember that the square root of 3 is what you're going to distribute. And since it's under a square root, that means you can multiply it by the other square roots. Okay, so this would be 6 square root of 6 minus 4. And then just realize when I take the square root of 3 times the square root of 3, again, you can write it out that, well, I get the square root of 9, but you know what the square root of 9 is already. It's 3. Okay, so just as a common rule we keep seeing again and again, the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 just gives me 3. And it'd be multiplied to that 4. And so then I could end up reducing that to get 12. So 6 square root of 6 minus 12 for number 11. Okay, usually I don't do too many of them all the way out, but some of these I'll do for you since it's kind of a new topic here. Okay, then there weren't any examples like this in the notes, but I'll look at one of the ones like 12, 13, 14, but I think you'd have an idea what to do on these down here too. These are just dealing with binomials, right? So now if you're multiplying with these, well, remember our old rules like using the table method or using the FOIL method. Either one of those will work. In one like number 12, okay, or 13, remember it's a binomial squared, so it's just like having that same binomial twice. Or again, this one also is another one where it's already written out, but you could do FOIL or table method. Okay, and that should help you get started on those. And then, as we talked about, look to simplify if you can. All right. And in number 15, it's just one you have to read carefully. Okay, again, I'm not going to do this whole one, but realize that they give you a formula you're going to follow. They even talk about what the numbers stand for in the formula, so read that carefully. That should help you figure out where to plug certain numbers into the formula, and then just you can answer from there. I think that's one that you can definitely interpret and work on. If you need help, you can ask me for more help, but if you read it carefully, I think you'll know what to do. Okay. But as always, like I always say, email or Zoom me if you still are needing some more help. You guys, I'm always here to help you. Okay? Good luck, and have a good weekend.